I think we should begin. Thank you very much for coming, as usual. And as usual, we have some dissatisfaction to vent regarding the Security Council meeting format. When we applied last week for an emergency meeting, the Security Council to discuss in particular or especially the drone attacks on Port-Sudan and on other key towns and cities in Sudan, in particular the electric facilities, water, electric facilities, hospitals, and civilian facilities, which has been going on unabated. So regarding the format of the Security Council, although we do thank the President of the Security Council, the PR of Greece, for his cooperation and coordination of the meeting, but we certainly have that we thought that the meeting did not satisfy our expectations for, although we do respect the neutral role of the Greece has met one of its guiding principles of its objectives during its presidency and membership of the Security Council. But we wish to express few concerns. The UAE intervention in the work of the Security Council, according to the evidence we have had, seeks to undermine the primary responsibility for the maintenance of international peace and security. It also seeks to silence Sudan's voice within the Council, claiming that Sudan is exploiting the Security Council platform to promote propaganda against it, according to the testimony of the witnesses, experts, media, professionals, strategic centers, observers, and investigative journalism, Western journalism. Our statements provided arguments, evidence, statistics, and a legal basis, a legal substantiation basis of the conflict or the war of aggression, which has been promoted by UAE and its surrogates and proxies in Sudan and across Africa, and in addition to the mercenaries. So we think that what we stated about the UAE's aggressive role was supported by international circles, human rights organizations and others. Those who seek to silence our voice, aware of this fact, have employed all possible means, pressures to silence it, disregarding its inconsistency with the Charter and the Council provisional rules of procedure. So the UAE is leading efforts and exerting pressure on the Council to unfairly influence Sudan's position within the Council. So we have no evidence that the esteemed Council, by choosing current secret format, will perform its functions in the absence of media outlets. We also appreciate that the Council may have sought to avoid the impression of division or lack of cohesion, given that the war of aggression and those seeking to exacerbate it are well known to the Council. So the Council may have sought to conduct a constructive and serious discussion of this escalating aggression, but we thought that we have ended up victimizing the voice of Sudan, which should be given the room it deserves. Regarding the drones attack, we have this information to share with you. First, the drones attack on Port-Sudan has significant geopolitical implications and reflects the UAE hostility. The UAE interest is establishing a military presence in Sudan as part of its strategic plan to enhance its influence in the Red Sea region and East Africa. In addition, these regions are critical for international shipping routes and have been affected by piracy and regional conflicts. So the suicidal drones attack that hit Port-Sudan or targeted Port-Sudan, the temporary administration capital during the war, came from across the Red Sea from one of the UAE military base. The UAE military base launched a strike as requested and demanded by the RSF, targeting Port-Sudan airport and the civilian and oil facilities within Port Sudan that led to disturbing operations and affecting infrastructure. The full extent of the damage is still being assessed. So we think the UAE and RSF are typically equipped internationally to target or intentionally to target Port Sudan because it is a key gateway for the Sudanese government, and the disruption can have significant consequences. Not only this, but on the region, on trade, and on the security of the Red Sea. So the insurgents of the RSF are secretly advocating for an attack against the Sudanese Sovereignty Council members in Port Sudan. The UAE is determined to offer massive military support to RSF to prevent their fiasco after the recent successful operations have repelled the massive sitting of the RSF in the urban centers and in the middle of Sudan. So Port Sudan stability is crucial, and collaborative efforts are essential to ensure the safety and prosperity of this vital coastal city. We look forward for the engagement of the UN and the international community and those regional partners of peacemaking in connection with the war of aggression in Sudan. So it is likely that the drone attack on Port Sudan was executed by a long-range MQ-9B or MQ-9 drone from one of the UAE military base, which is strategically located along the Red Sea and Gulf of Eden. We assume the UAE Navy vessels carries significant logistical operation of suicide drones. The MG-9B drone provides a footprint for the UAE to support RSF military operations efforts in nearby conflict zones, including Port Sudan. So the key findings in this respect, one assumption could be the UAE military aircraft attacked by Sudanese armed forces in Niala airport on May 3, 25 killed 13 number of foreigners, some say including even Emirati citizens, including Kenyan citizens co-pilot, may have driven the reprisal attack, including the attack on Port Sudan airport by the UAE. So therefore, if this was valid assumption, the UAE military base launched intentionally on May 4 a weaponized drone attack on Port Sudan airport from beyond or the Red Sea itself. In May 4, several OPS ground agents or group agents reported GPS jamming events resulting in the drone showing its position. Several hotspots were identified, including over the Red Sea. So in May 4 as well, at least 8 cruise missiles or drones were launched from over the Red Sea, reportedly launched from a UAE military base targeting Sudan. The Red Sea international water and air base has been used for at least 5 hours of concessions to attack Port Sudan airport. So the drone attack on Port Sudan airport and other cities was intended to disrupt and isolate Sudan during these telling times. This UAE strategy includes drone attacks on infrastructure and security institutions aimed at countering the influence of the Red Sea region attacks against Sudan. So the UAE establishment of a military base in other areas, across the Red Sea reflects a strategic interest in securing in East Africa integrity routes. It is expanding its expanding influence in the Horn of Africa, which is now an asset for regional instabilities. So the attack highlights the ongoing security challenges and threats faced in the region, impacting both local and international interests. So the key finding, the UAE and RSF have strategically planned to attack Port Sudan, a vital maritime hub for the Red Sea, plays a crucial role as temporary capital of Sudan and government dignitaries and security residents, and also a hub, safe haven for the displaced in their southern. Its strategic location makes it a focal point of UAE and RSF activity and geopolitical interest. However, this prominence also makes it susceptible to various security threats, including drone attacks. So another possibility is that the attack involved the use of suicide drones, a type of unmanned aerial. The Hunter 2S drones were flown out from the Red Sea, international water, communicated with the UAE Navy vessel, armored cruiser missile, carry out complex cooperative attacks with a high degree of autonomy that is designed to carry explosive and detonate upon reaching its target. These suicide drones were launched from remote locations in the Red Sea, international waters, maybe southwest the Red Sea, making them a formidable tool in modern unstoppable and difficult interception asymmetric warfare. So some suicide drones came from the Port-Sudan, from West Port-Sudan, where the air navigation interception system radar across the western Sudan, nearly Abu Hamad, across eastern part of the city, it has been detected. So the geopolitical tensions, Port Sudan is a corridor for significant political capital routes, and control of destruction of this temporary capital can shift regional power dynamics. And economic disruption targeting Port Sudan airport, government facilities, and officials can have devastating effects politically, military, and economic supply chains, impacting regional stability, and also escalate the war of aggression which was approaching its end before this escalation of attacks. So we think that RSF dedicated an incident response team from foreigners in places to manage and mitigate any operational failures, and the UAE and RSF has worked or collaborated together to achieve this. One final point is that the France 24 observers, as you have known, obtained a document linked to the sale of the Bulgarian mortar bombs found in Sudan. It is a delivery verification certificate, a document from the person supposed to be the end user of the weapons that attest that they were delivered. It's issued by the armed forces of the UAE, the first frame. This document attests that the army receiving a shipment of the same type of mortar shells shown in the video filmed in Sudan, 81 millimeter mortar bomb, HE, final frame, as well as other types of mortar bombs. The Emirati army is listed as the end user of the bombs. Two companies involved in the transaction are also listed, an Emirati company called International Golden Group, PJSC, second frame, and a Bulgarian company called ARM/BG Limited, third frame. This is what the France observer team has come to reach. So the document shows just how large the shipment of mortar bombs was. 15,000 bombs, measuring 81 millimeter, like those seen in the videos from November 24, filmed in Sudan, but also 2,780 bombs measuring 60 millimeter, 30,000 measuring 82 millimeter, and 11,464 bombs measuring 120 millimeters, much more powerful caliber. So this is in a nutshell what we want to share with you in the aftermath of the Security Council. If anyone has got any question.
What do you concretely expect from the Security Council?
Yes.
Other than words?
Yes, we expect from the Security Council to live up to the expectations of the international, wide international and massive focus of the war of aggression in Sudan, the suffering of its people, the killing of women, raping of women, children, and the massive unparalleled historical displacement of the citizens, Sudanese. And when they sheltered at Port Sudan, they came again to discipline them. They attacked again Zamzam and attacked Abu Shok camps. That's only and exclusively dedicated for hosting refugees and displaced people. How can you accept killing those people would enhance the leverage of the UAE to subdue the Sudanese government and its sovereignty to come willy-nilly to the peace that they wanted to impose and dictate on Sudanese people. And at the same time, they silence our voice in the Security Council by they saying that we are propagating propaganda. Although, as we said, we have been helping the Security Council by delivering authentic information and to show that the state is functioning. And these data and information are meticulously monitored by our relevant security and military intelligence authorities. So we are not trading in lies. So we think the Security Council is dragging its feet, and I think it's not up to the moment that we wanted it to take, to throw the gauntlet and to name and shame the UAE and to impose a resolution that the UAE should stop immediately and forthwith it killing our armory provided to the militia, and to stop training the mercenaries from Latin America and beyond. And we have, many of them have been killed in the fields of the war, either in the desert while they were trying to have access to Al-Fasher. And now the UAE is actually set to establish a military base in Niala. So this is why when the army managed to attack and destroy it with its intelligence Emirati team, it has been rumored that there might be a high-profile Emirati person has been killed. And this is why the reprisal have been made. So the Security Council is not trying to engage with the degree that we are expecting. And this is because it has been succumbed to the undue influence by the UAE and the networking of interests. We know the economic ties and interests. So this is a game of interest that does not care anymore for the Sudanese who have been killed, because one of their colleagues, one of their partners, is actually the aggressor. They cannot tell him that, stop it. Any more questions? Yes, sir.
The U.S., what did the U.S. say in the meeting, in the closed meeting regarding Sudan?
I cannot narrate what exactly the U.S. said, but the U.S. has condemned the attacks and has condemned as well the RSF for attacking Port Sudan and the important facilities. And the U.S. has also asked the two parties to sit for negotiating peaceful settlement and to stop the cessation of hostilities. And also they have consolidated their efforts with Sudan in order to stop the war. And I think this is a very good position of the U.S. today, and we welcome their statement.
Sorry, but how are they consolidated efforts to end the war? Is this under the Trump administration, or you're talking about in the last 6 months?
They didn't speak about a ready-made map or what do you call it, a pathway to peacemaking in Sudan. But Sudan has been discussed during Trump's visit to the Gulf. It has been discussed. Maybe not publicly, but in camera it has been discussed.
So what's the U.S. plan?
It's hard to say what is the U.S. plan, but we assume until the contrary is being proved that the U.S. is interested in stopping the war in Sudan. But actually, what we want them to do is to try to exert pressure on the UAE not to release their lethal arms and provide them to the RSF, because this is a breach of the contract of sale, and the end user have been targeted to be the UAE in all arms and drones that we have been referring to. So we need more pressure, either from the US or from across the EU as well. As we have seen, the Bulgarian mortar bombs have been also find their way to the Emirati army ending in Niala. So we would welcome as well the Security Council to share other actors and partners in the peacemaking process by exerting the pressure that we are hoping them to do, or to lay on the UAE to reconcile with the charter, and to stop the war of aggression in Sudan. Yes, sir.
This is just a follow-up, Ambassador, on the previous question. But the fact is that President Trump has been talking a lot about the Ukrainian-Russian situation. He talks sometimes about the Gaza situation. He talks about many things. He said that stop the carnage, but he never mentioned Sudan. So if you had in front of you President Trump, what you will ask him, what you will say, what is your message?
We have already a blueprint to engage positively with Trump's administration, following up with what he has did during his first presidency. When he engaged very positively with Sudan, his administration managed to release Sudan from these sanctions, and he managed to help Sudan also engage with the international organizations, financial organizations. Also, he set up the engagement of Sudan with the Abrahamic Accords, and we would think that we can build on these steps. And if President Trump himself did not make a statement, but we are in touch with the Trump administration through other actors. They touched base with Sudan, and we met them, and there is now, I think, an envoy has been appointed with an origin from a Middle Eastern country, and he has been named, and we are also in touch with him. Our ambassador in Washington is working hard in touching base with the State Department, and we have definitely a ready blueprint to engage with Trump administration in as much as we think we can strike a deal with him. This is regarding Trump administration. Any more? Thank you very much for your kindness and cooperation. Thank you, sir.